Master of Deceit from RFA Stories. It had been a couple of weeks since historian Shujun Wang was convicted of spying for the Chinese government. Last time my colleague Jane Tang and I saw him, he was leaving the courthouse in a black car. Now he's staying close. He's monitored with his ankle bracelet, waiting for his sentencing in a few months and a possible appeal. A U.S. attorney said the indictment could have been the plot of a spy novel. Wang had been a champion of democracy, but secretly he was working for the Chinese Communist Party. Today, his case is being discussed all over his neighborhood. The area is known as Chinese Manhattan. On the steps of a library, there's silver-haired men with folding shopping carts parked next to them. The steps are carved with titles: Diary of a Westward Journey, The Peach Child, Gulliver's Travels, magical stories, and a place that can seem magical. Here, cardboard boxes on Main Street are filled with blue crabs, picked up with silver tongs, put in a brown paper bag, shifting, clacking, and there's a blinking neon red sign above a liquor store. Welcome to Flushing.
My name is Tara McKelvey. I work for Radio Free Asia. Why is he yelling?
The reason why he's yelling at them because they think that they can't go back to China.
The people there they have signs that say release all political prisoners, stop CCP infiltration.
They were across the street over there at the post office, so they came here, and then the guy was yelling at them because he can't sell the stuff that he wanted to. So basically, he got mad and started yelling at them.
Eric Hui was helping his father sell toilet paper and packing tape and boxer shorts, and the protesters were in the way. One of them, Jay Keen, studied political science in Sichuan province and has been following the spy case.
It's a classical case because I think these people, he just bought by money from China, and he's desperately want to visit China because he has family like that. Personally, I understand him, but we can't because it's necessary to end CCP for the security of the whole world and also the American. So we are protected by American. We can't communicate or help our enemy. That's a betray to the Chinese people, also American people. Yeah.
Hi, I'm looking for D.
D is this one. This is closed.
Thank you.
Inside a nearby building, you walk past endless corridors of acupuncture clinics and pharmacies, law firms. One has a "We are hiring" sign on the door, and in another...
Hi. Can you introduce yourself?
Kevin Tang, attorney for Shujun Wang.
After the verdict, Kevin Tang tried to get out of being Wang's lawyer, saying he wasn't getting paid. But the judge said he had to stay, at least until he filed a motion to be released. And so, Tang's still a co-defense lawyer on the case. A couple weeks after the verdict, I spoke with him just outside his office. It's a small, glassed-in room with stacks and stacks and stacks of paper, some several feet high.
So Mr. Wang was convicted of all 4 counts. I think the first count is working as a foreign agent for the Chinese government, right? That actually counts too. One is conspiracy, with others, and the second one is just by himself, and then the third count is I think making false statement to law enforcement or FBI, and the fourth count is what was the fourth count? What's the fourth count? just all of a sudden I can't remember the first count.
The confusion about the charges are a reminder of the challenges Wang faced. Here's his other co-defense lawyer, Zachary Margulis Amuma, talking to reporters after the trial about what comes next.
Appeal wouldn't be till after the sentencing, so I think that's a decision that remains to be made.
Do you have a particular sentence that you're going to be recommending?
Anything that spares him the agony of the federal prison system.
So the person I met with Director He was at a banquet where my daughter and son-in-law also were present.
In Hong Kong?
In Hong Kong.
When was this about? About when was this?
哪一年呢?
这是好像是4年前左右了吧?
About 4 years ago.
4-5年前.
That was Wang speaking in a recording made by undercover FBI agents. In this video, he's telling them about his contacts with China's intelligence ministry. It was used as evidence against him during the trial, and he was found guilty of being a secret operative. It's a serious offense. Nobody got killed in this case, though. Nobody lost any money. Still, here's Holden Triplett, who used to head up the FBI office in Beijing.
What is the harm? Someone is facing 25 years in jail, and it doesn't involve a loss of life or a physical harm or loss of money. But why I think this is so important and why we take it seriously is that this is really about, and I'm trying not to be sort of hyperbolic here, but like about the foundation of our country. And if we allow an outside power to erode ideals, so there's today perhaps they're going after Chinese dissidents in the Chinese diaspora, Chinese Americans. But what's to stop them from going after, say, journalists? And so in my mind, I think there's a clear progression where, you go back 20 years, who did the Ministry of State Security care about? The so-called five poisons, right? They're democracy activists, Falun Gong, Taiwan, Tibetans, and Uyghurs. That has really expanded to basically they believe they need to police everybody in the Chinese diaspora now, wherever they are. And so we should take it seriously.
Peter Mattis, a former CIA analyst and the current president of the Jamestown Foundation, a think tank in D.C., has spent his entire career researching Chinese communist espionage. For many years, he has advocated against the American public's misconception about Chinese spy, arguing that the sophistication of Chinese espionage are far more complex than we realize.
We're confronting an adversary, and specifically we're confronting this aspect of an adversary, intelligence one, that we haven't quite formulated the appropriate response, and we're starting to feel our way through it. And hopefully we'll get there sooner rather than later. But one of the reasons why I'm very happy to see the response to transnational repression and a government and civil society response to it is that we're starting to appreciate that the Ministry of State Security is collecting intelligence on a wide range of targets, that intelligence is not just about national defense, and that we should understand these things as an element of Chinese power and how Beijing is operating.
Mike Gao, a Chinese-American lawyer based in Flushing, has been closely following Wang's case. Having known Wang personally for decades, the news of Wang's verdict hit him hard. Gao believes the Justice Department is prosecuting cases like this to send a clear message.
For Chinese community, my advice to Chinese communities, we have to be careful. And we have to be very careful how about the Chinese government use your identity, use your any other way to force you or to threat you to work with Chinese government. Because most of the Chinese people doesn't have any knowledge how they already violated the American law. Because they said that we're going to provide some information is public, or information is not that serious. There's no crime. But once you work with Chinese government, especially for intelligence department, that's against the U.S. law. And I believe we still have another Chinese people, not only in the dissidents community and also for whole the Chinese community. I think maybe has more people going to arrest and indict.
中国坚持走和平发展道路。中国的发展是世界发展的机遇和全球和平力量的增长。伯恩斯局长作为全球最大间谍组织的负责人。
A spokesman for the Chinese Foreign Ministry said that the U.S. is overreacting, and it's the United States that's engaged in espionage.
感谢他的提醒，中方将一如既往地做好防范工作，不会让美国的非法行径得逞。
Mike Driscoll's a former assistant director of the FBI field office in New York. Today he's with a consulting firm, FTI.
The main shift in this area that occurs to me is the movement towards being vocal about it and getting the message out. This kind of repression has gone on for many years in many different parts of the world, but I find the U.S. government and those who work in there has gotten more vocal about pointing it out, which is a good thing. It highlights it, makes it more understood. It makes people more aware and able to protect themselves from it when it happens, so that when they see something or they experience something, they're more likely to pick up the phone and talk about it.
Again, here's Holden Triplett, formerly of the FBI.
How did the spy stories end? For me, you're not going to necessarily get everything to be kind of cleanly resolved. And there is a lot of ambiguity. The FBI doggedly pursues cases as it should, but that often means ripping into people's lives. And that has an impact. That often makes it much murkier. People just sort of fade into the background a lot more. They're never really gone. Versus I think sometimes when you, in law enforcement, you can actually, at least for a little while, take people off the playing field, right, off the chessboard, until it's, often they can come back and play for another day in another way.
A new arrest. 2 weeks after Wang was found guilty, one of his neighbors, Yuan Jiantong, an American citizen, was also accused of acting as an unregistered agent of the People's Republic of China. Nobody was home at his place when I was there on a Friday afternoon. It's a brick building in a garden with red plastic geraniums threaded into a bush. His neighbor, Tessa, is an engineer from Taiwan.
Have you heard anyone talk about, the possibility of spies or anything?
Never. I never heard that. Yeah, never heard that. We did not talk about that. We don't know. Yeah, we don't know. It's very surprised. Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, I don't know that.
Spy novels have a resolution. The story's over. It's all sorted. But at the end of real-life stories like Wang's, you just realize how much you didn't know before about the way China's intelligence ministry operates, the deceit and betrayal, and how entrenched it all seems, with the U.S. and China spy agencies in a pitched battle, and how unlikely it seems that any of this will end.
Hungry for more RFA podcasts?
Want to hear interviews and analyses with RFA journalists and find out how RFA stories are born?
Do you want to explore the sillier side of RFA's content with bad puns, memes, and mindless banter?
Mindless? If you said yes, then check out the RFA Insider podcast.
Visit rfa.org/English/insider or find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get podcasts.
So yeah, check it out.